Hey, what's up? It's Thomas. Today, I'm very excited to introduce you to the dedicated plugin version of XPlode. Let's dive right in. If this is your first time seeing XPlode, it's a pitch-based effect, and it's a lot of fun. You can do some really creative, cool stuff with it. So if I jump right into the door here, and I'll show you. So what's super cool about it is we have this whammy style expression on the right hand side here. Now that can go up and down all the way to 2 octaves, so we can go crazy with really, really high or really low. So great for like trem dives and all of that stuff. But before we get too into the actual different ways that you can use it, I want to jump back to the real basics. I'm going to switch over to a clean tone in the McLaughlin suite here. And I want to show you some basic setups and how to assign the MIDI, and to also showcase just how great and clear XPlode sounds with complex chords versus another, let's say, whammy style effect. So here I am with the default preset. I've got the McLaughlin suite clean. And hey, I want to assign a MIDI expression pedal on the floor to these buttons. How do we do that? So I'm using Ableton, and I've simply added a MIDI track here, and I've set the output to go to XPlode. Inside of XPlode, I can then right-click on my first button. I want that to be A, and then I can right-click on the second button, B, and I want that to be my second expression pedal. Now on the floor here, if I show you what I'm actually doing there, I have 2 expression pedals, and they're just plugged into the expression Omni type of ports in my MIDI controller. So I'm not really using the buttons on the MIDI controller for this because I just wanted more chunky buttons for those XPlode buttons. And it's exactly the same for the MIDI expression. If I right click on the plugin here, you'll see I have it mapped to a controller. And if I unmap it, so it's not mapped currently, I can then right click, MIDI learn, and tap on my expression pedal, which is plugged into my controller. And right away, it's mapped and ready to use. If we want to make any manual alterations, we can click that MIDI button down on the bottom left, and maybe you change your CC numbers, as your rig gets more complex or whatever it might be. Just simply click that button. I want to showcase more of the sound before we go into some real wild stuff, because you can do some awesome, real creative things with XPlode. But for now, here's some chords in E minor. And I want you to kind of listen to more of the quality of the pitch, because it's very usable in songs. I love pitch that you can actually use within your guitar tones, within tracks, right? Not just like novelty stuff. So very simple, we're just going up and down an octave, right? But I want you to listen. I'm not going to show the user interface, but if you've got a very eagle eye, you'll see what that plugin is in the bottom left of my display. So this is not XPlode. This is another plugin by another company. That's just like E minor 7. Let's play something a little bit more complex. Let's jump over to XPlode and do the same thing. And go back again. Let's play something like... Yeah, so that's tough, right? I mean, that's like, you wouldn't want those artifacts in your track. Same thing now, let's use XPlode instead. Very clean, very transparent, and it just makes it that much more usable. And to me, where this becomes really powerful is if you use presets which use the new ability with XPlode, and that's mix. It allows you to blend it in as much or as little as you like. So with this preset, it's a 50-50 blend. Let's switch up and play in C# minor here. What I love about this is we could take a C# minor chord. Oh, we've got like this incredible new chord. Major 7s. Now suddenly we've just revoiced our chords, and because the pitch is so clean and transparent, you don't get this on top of your chord. It's just very, very usable. And I could use it to create like pads. Maybe less reverb, less delay. This is using grain delay inside the McLaughlin suite. Now, even if we turn that grain delay off and we just swamp it out with a little bit of reverb, so that's one of my favorite ways of using XPlode, to take familiar chord shapes that me and you probably have plenty of, and to really elevate them by adding pitch on top to really create these ultra voice chords that would be impossible to play. And it's very inspiring. It kind of gets me thinking about new song ideas and really gets my creative juices flowing. But now I want to show you some of the rise and fall stuff, because that is also very, very cool. So let's dive into that. So here I have a preset called tape. And what I have is a very fast release for the rise, and the fall is a very slow. So if I actually, let me show you what I'm doing on the floor here. If I push down and I release, what you hear is... And we can make that really slow. So for example, super cool. I love stuff like that. It's very quirky, but again, very usable for a guitarist. But the pitch B is set at a really, really fast pace. So when I hit, we get a very, very fast to that octave up. So we have a slow octave down and a fast octave up. And I really think that's a cool balance. And yeah, that was a bit bad, wasn't it? There we go, a little bit better. Yeah, I think that's really cool. And then to complement that, I have an octave down. And of course, if we blended that in 50-50, we've now just created a really cool octaver. That also works very good with polyphonic chords. We just need someone to play the chords better. I'm playing so bad today, but hopefully you get the idea. Let's crank it up a little bit now and get some gain on. So let me show you what's actually happening there, because we have some rather interesting things. So the first block is going up an octave, but very, very slow. And because it's blended in 50-50, you hear all these overtones. Really, really cool. But then the second block, I have one semitone apart, and what that makes for is some really heavy dissonance. So if you do like, you can get some really wild, very, very modern in a way, kind of digital metal, so to speak, type of sounds. And then I have the actual Whammy expression pedal up 3. Alright, I've got one final way that you should try for yourself when you get XPlode, and that is by stacking A and B on top of each other. So right there we have A going up an octave and then an additional 3. Now, if I wanted to speed that second rise and fall up really, really fast, like 15 milliseconds or so each, we have total control over that. So this is where I'm going to throw it over to you guys, because when I just sit and experiment with different pitches, different rise and fall speeds, before long you're creating some absolutely wild new melodies, new arrangements, new riffs. It's just really great at getting new ideas to happen. There we go, guys. That is my little overview of the dedicated plugin XPlode. It's out right now, so head to the PolyChrome DSP website to find out more. We actually have a nice little intro offer awaiting you, so take advantage of that whilst you can. And of course, if you have any questions at all, or you just want to leave a nice comment, absolutely do that. We appreciate that a lot. And if you're new to this and you're like, what MIDI controller do I get? What audio interface do I get? This is all brand new. Head to the PolyChrome DSP Discord server. We've got an awesome community building over there with like-minded guitarists, many brand new to this, and they're up and running in a very, very short period of time. And they're enjoying the benefits of the PolyChrome plugins and having a blast whilst doing it. So yeah, feel free to check out the Discord. I'll leave that link down below too. And I'll see you guys back here real soon. All right, enjoy. Take care. Cheers. Bye.